Kamakailan lang nagkaroon ng malaking kontrobersya matapos tuluyang ibasura ni Senator Jesus Escudero at Coco Pimentel ang isang utos mula kay Pangulong Ferdinand Coutinho Jr. Ang nasabing utos ay naglalayong baguhin ang ilang patakaran sa pagbibigay ng kontrata sa mga pampublikong proyekto na tinutulan ng dalawang senador. Sa isang press conference, tahasang sinabi ni Senator Escudero na hindi nila maaaring isakripisyo ang transparency at accountability sa pamahalaan. Aniya, hindi kami papayag na isang tabi ang kapakanan ng sambayanan para lamang sa ilang pansariling interes. Sinang-ayunan naman ito ni Senator Pimentel na nagsabing kailangan tiyakin natin ang bawat proyekto ng publiko na maayos ang dalawang mambabatas ang kanilang maiwasan ng anumang para sa ikakabuti ng bansa. Sa kabila ng mga hambang namin babantayan ang mga susunod na hakbang ni Speaker Romualdez at ang magiging ni Senator Escudero. Marami ang mga eksperto at yan nga ang balitang ating pagkakatutukan. Ngunit bagong lahat, siguraduhin na mag-subscribe kanilang pag-notif para sa isang mabilis na katupatan ng pamahalaan. Patuloy ang aming pagbabantay sa mga susunod na mangyayari kaugnay sa isyong ito. At yan nga ang balitang ating pagkakatutukan. Ngunit bagong lahat, siguraduhin mag-subscribe at i-hit ang notification bell para sa patuloy na pagtutok sa mga sulyap ng bagong balita sa tunay na boses ng masa.
Ito ang bagong upo na Senate President. Hindi susunod sa kagustuhan ng Malacanang. Baka matulad siya kay former Senate President Miguel Zubiri. Okay, nagpahayag itong si Senate President Jesus Escudero na yung bagong direktiba, Memorandum Circular ng Malacanang, yung puwersahan na bagong Pilipinas hymn at saka pledge isasama na awitin, ipanata every flag ceremony. Nako, nagsalita ang Senate President, hindi kami kasali dyan. Pang-executive lang yan. Legislative at judiciary, hindi kami sakop. Ganon ang payag ng Senate President. Na tama naman. Kasi, di ba, equal branches of government. So itong Memorandum Circular, para lang sa under ng Executive Department. So, yun po, klaro na pahayag ng Senate President, hindi sila kasama, hindi sila susunod doon. Okay? So, I don't know. Baka naman another kudita mangyari sa Senado dahil hindi naman siguro. Okay? Kasi kay ex-Senate President Zubiri, mabigat yung sa kanya dahil Chacha at saka Pedialix yung hindi niya sinunod. Okay, isa pang senador na kumontra. Si Senate Minority Floor Leader Coco Pimentel. Para sa kanya, hindi rin. Binatikos o kahit sa Executive Department, hindi rin dapat, sabi niya. Dito, sa headlines ng Philippine Star, law needed to order singing of Bagong Pilipinas. According to Senator Pimentel, yung Memorandum Circular number 52 is not enough. Kailangan ng batas. Okay? So, basahin natin yung kanyang suggestion. I suggest, sabi ni Pimentel, I suggest that the executive branch submit a bill containing those ideas to amend the existing law governing the national anthem, pledge, and flag raising ceremonies. The Memorandum Circular is not sufficient. I believe a law is needed in order to authorize that. Pimentel, nagsasalita, bar top notcher. Kalimutan ko anong year ito nagkapasa sa bar. Basta top notcher siya. Mayroon na kasi tayong batas RA 9841. Yes, yeah, RA 9841. Yung batas na yon mandated talaga na sa lahat ng mga gatherings, gobyerno, basta dito sa Pilipinas, ang bawat Pilipino kantahin yung Lupang Inirang with fervor, passion, galing sa puso. O, batas yun. So, according to the Bartap na chair, kailangang mag-submit ng bill at i-amend yung Republic Act 8491. Nabaliktad. RA 8491. Ito po yung So, Section 38, nakalagay ito sa RA 8491, stipulates that whenever the national anthem is played at a public gathering, it must adhere to the musical arrangement and composition by Julian Felipe. Attendees are also expected to sing the national anthem with fervor. Malala ko nung martial law, high school ako noon tinuro, pinakanta yung Bagong Lipunan song. Talagang unang pagkadinig ko pa lang, ang ganda yung tono, yung marcha, may bagong silang, may bago ng buhay. Nakakadala sa emosyon, nakakatat sa patriotism, nationalism, yung Bagong Lipunan. Ito ngayon, itong bagong Pilipinas hymn, yung mga nabasa kong comments, mga articles, parang para sa hip-hop, parang wala, it's not a hymn at all. It does not inspire. It does not touch the heart, yung patriotism. Wala lang. Nananawagan lang ng pagbabago. Ganun lang. Kaya lang yung composition, malayo. Lyrics, malayo. Okay. So, ano pa? It is important, ito, may isang profesora na bumatikos din. Law Professor Mel Santa Maria of Far Eastern University. Sabi niya, the memorandum on the bagong Pilipinas hymn and pledge is in violation or goes beyond the mandate of RA 8491 or the Flag and Heraldic Code. So sabi ng professor ng PIATE, the Office of the President just transgressed the law which it claims it is implementing. Violation. Okay. So, the good professor, sabi niya, yung Memorandum Circular number 52 is a coercive memo. Namimilit. Yung kantang ito, yung Bagong Lipunan Hymn Kunuhay, na una kong narinig sa YouTube channel ng DepEd. Binasa ko yung mga comments. Halos 80% sa mga comments against sila sa hymn na ito, mga teachers na ito. Di ba, ang title is Panahon ng Pagbabago. So, sabi ng mga teachers, ang daming sabi, panahon ng panggagago. Bagong Pilipinas, ang nagbago lang ay ang presyo. Tumataas ang presyo, yun ang nagbago. Ano pa? 2 taon na, wala pa ring pagbabago. So, ano talaga? Ito pa, hindi lang yung professor, pati itong Teachers Dignity Coalition, nagpayag din. Teachers Dignity Coalition, a group of teachers ito, sabi nila, yung calling, yung pagpuwersa na kantahin ang bagong Pilipinas hymn is a move reminiscent of political propaganda tactics seen during the Marcos years. Inuulit lang panahon ng Marcos Sr. But again, dahil estudyante ako nung pinapakanta ito, ganahan ko. At hanggang ngayon, memorize ko pa eh. Tumatak sa puso't isipin ko. Talagang disiplina ang kailangan. Naging disiplinado ang tao nung panahon ng martial law. Experience ko yun, ha? So, sabi ng mga Teachers Dignity Coalition, the directive is impractical, unnecessary, and has nothing to do with educating students about nationalism and patriotism. Agree ba kayo? Hindi mo naman maituro yung ganyan sa kanta-kanta lang, lalo na kung okay lang sana kung maganda na hymn. Basta, I don't know kung napakinggan nyo na. Napakapangit ang tono, napakapangit ang lyrics. Dagdag ng Teachers Dignity Coalition. This initiative is superficial attempt to instill a brand of governance that instead of genuinely educating school children about nationalism and patriotism through exemplary lives of our national leaders, resorts to mandatory recitations and songs. Nako, ang bigat nito. Dapat, sabi ng mga teachers, ang ipakita yung exemplary lives of our national leaders. Gusto nila ng mamamayang Pilipino ay magbago. Eh ano ang buhay ng ating mga leaders ngayon? Wala kang makitang inspiration dahil wala kang nakikita na pagmamahal sa bayan na yung bayan muna bago sarili. Walang ganun. Lalo na itong nangyayari ngayon, yung People's Initiative. Ilang billions pundo ang ginamit para pang ayuda na yung pala may kahalong deception. Ano pa? Budget natin. Ilang billion? 800 billion unprogrammed. Naging presidential pork barrel. Ang daming mga examples ng governance ngayon na hindi kaaya-aya. Eh how can you expect people to change for the better? Madali yung gustong magbago para tumulong. Madali yan. Ipakita nyo lang, set the example. Ganun lang yan. Napakasimple. Hindi na dadaanin sa kanta at mga, meron na nga lupang hinirang, di ba? Meron na. Tapos panatang makabayan. Bakit mo padadagdagan ng bagong lipunang him at saka panata? Dubli-dubli lang. So, I agree with Senator Subiri na dapat magpasa ng batas. I-amend yung 8491 kung gusto nila. Hindi yung ganyan na ala martial law, ipipilit mo na lang lalo na sa mga estudyante.
Co-Chair Congressman Adyong, with the permission of my co-chair, I would like to yield the floor to Senator Robin Hood Padilla, who is being requested by Senator Risa Hontiveros to read her opening statement. You have the floor, Your Honor, Senator Robin Hood Padilla.
Maraming salamat po, mahal naming idol, General Senator Bato de la Rosa. Maraming salamat po. Meron pong mensahe yung ating pong mahal na minority, siya po ang hinahangaan din po natin, si Senator Risa Hontiveros. Meron po siyang gusto kong basahin sa inyo. Ang sabi po dito, sa kapahintulutan po ng lahat. Kanya po ito, hindi po ito sa akin. Ito po ay kay Senator Risa Hontiveros. At English po ito. Ito po ang binigay na misyon ni Senator Bato. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Good morning. Section 15 of the Marawi Siege Victims Compensation Act provides that the Marawi Compensation Board shall determine the monetary compensation and award based on whichever is the lower amount of either the fair market value or the value of its total area per story, equivalent to an amount to be determined in the implementing rules and regulations of this act. The laws implementing rules provides a schedule of the replacement or repair costs of various structures. For example, the totally damaged concrete structures, the replacement cost shall be 18,000 pesos per square meter. However, some of the Marawi siege victims are questioning the method the Marawi Compensation Board has chosen to compute fair market value, which is to apply Ordinance Number 2, Series of 2021 of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of Llano del Sur, which is equivalent to assessor's fair market value less depreciation. This has resulted in the compensation for some victims being grossly insufficient for the purpose of repairing the damage done. The victims have also been told that the only remedy is for Congress to amend the law by defining, removing, or redefining the term fair market value. The issue I would like to raise is this: what was the intent of the law when the phrase fair market value was used? And isn't there a better reference than an ordinance when computing this value? I understand that there are many existing ways of assessing the fair market value. It should be up to the MCV to choose one or even to define one that does not defeat the entire purpose of the law, which is to restore the victims to a dignified situation. Diba, build back better ang slogan noon? Dapat, yun pa rin hanggang ngayon. Yun lamang po, mahal na Ginoong General Senator Bato.
Thank you, Your Honor, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, for reading the opening statement of Senator Risa Ontiveros. And if I may answer, what is the intent of the law for the term fair market value? I am one of the co-authors of this law. The intention of the law is to be fair. To be fair to everyone. But if fairness is not achieved through this particular provision, then we are open. We are open for any possible amendments or whatever. So, with the permission of
Yes, I'd
yes,
like
go
to
ahead,
ask,
Senator,
since
Co-Chair.
Senator Robin Hood Padilla, our brother, read the message of Senator Risa Ontiveros. I guess the point of contention here, and we would like to delve into it really, is the issue on the actual compensation packages. I've also received quite a number of, I should say complaints from those who are waiting for actual compensation packages, that somehow the intention of the law, which is pegged at the fair market value, translate that into actual compensation. It would have been, in the long run, it would have created a reduced amount of actual payment. That's actually the issue that I received. Now, we would like to, as we go along, Mr. Chair, my dear colleagues, as we go along, maybe we can also discuss on how we can proceed, because I think the fair market value is subject for air taxation. I don't know how they would do that, but it's also subject to any form whatsoever. And that could be, I think, perhaps could be fitting to the intention of this joint committee hearing, which is actually to provide justice to those who are victimized by the Marawi siege. And maybe we can delve on that issue. And with the permission of my colleagues and co-chair, I think we have resource persons here that may want also to share their inputs and perhaps their position on the matter. With all due respect, maybe we can proceed before we tackle actual deliberating the questions and answer, etc. Maybe we can give them way to also expound and express their position on this matter, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Co-Chair. If you want us to entertain first the other resource person, because we have prepared here that first to speak is
Yeah.
Marawi Composition Board.
Maybe yes.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
the lineup would be okay na.
Okay.
But after, I think, Mr. Co-Chair, after Attorney Maysara, the chair of the MCB, can also appraise us with the development as to the actual packages. I believe MCB also their hands are tied. No, they have to also follow the what is put in the law. No, wala ho silang choice but to follow the law. So I guess we can give way for Attorney Maysara Damdaman Latif, chairman of the MCB, to first render to us her report on the actual development and progress as to the compensation packages being released now. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. And as prepared by our secretariat for an orderly hearing, there shall be a sequence of presentations from the government agencies. One is Marawi Compensation Board on the latest updates of the implementation of RA 11696. Number 2, Marawi City LGU. Number 3, DENR on the status of MCB's request for data sharing agreement. Number 4, water supply, LUA. Nandito ba LUA? LUA. Bauer, other related agencies. Ano kang participation ng Bauer dito?
Your Honors, contractor po siya ng
Contractor.
LUA for the bulk water supply.
Okay, thank you. Number 5, electricity. We want to hear from ERC, Lasorico, SAM, PSALM, and other related agencies, others if any. So, with the permission of my co-chair, I would like to yield the floor to Marawi Compensation Board.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I would like to also mention that in behalf of the Marawi Compensation Board, the board and bank is here, Your Honors. Thank you very much, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, for having us here. Congressman Zia Alonto Adyong, the co-chair, for inviting us once again in this very honorable and, of course, very timely discussion on the Marawi Compensation Board. And, of course, my most favorite actor of all time, and the senator, and mahal ng masa po, Senator Robin Padilla. Mahal na mahal po namin yan kasi before pa po siya maging senador, alam ko po yung nasa puso niya. So, para po talaga siya sa masa at paglilingkod ng bayan. Senator. Of course, Congressman Mujib Hataman, matagal na rin po kami sa activism. Sabi ko nga po kanina, ito pong nangyari ngayon ay isa po to sa kahilingan ko sa ating butihing senador na magkaroon po ng Senate hearing, Joint Congressional Oversight hearing para po marinig po natin ano po yung nasa pulso ng masa. Ano po yung gusto ng CSO, ano rin po ang sagot ng MCB, ano rin po yung progress namin. So maraming salamat po dyan. Galing po ako doon sa sphere na yun, no, yung konteksto na yun na mula pagkabata po namin, kasama po namin si Gob, ngayon ay congressman, nasa kalsada po kami. So ngayon, iba na po. Kami naman po yung nandito at nakikinig. So, maraming salamat rin kasi isa kayo rin sa inspirasyon ko bilang isang aktivista, ngayon mambabatas. So, Congresswoman Lima Poro, thank you very much also. You are the very first one who received us in your office. Remember, nung kaka-take out lang namin, then we visited you and then you heard us, I think, for 1 hour together with Khalid. So, we will not forget that space where you provided us how our budget should be. So nakinig po kayo sa amin at nagbigay po kayo ng magagandang wisdom para po dumating kami sa araw ngayon. Kasi kung wala pong makikinig sa
Magandang balita ang hatid namin sa inyo ngayong araw. Sa pagtatapos ng aming balitaan, nagbigay kami ng mga mahalagang impormasyon. Maraming salamat sa pagtutok at pagsuporta sa aming programa. Huwag kalimutang manatili sa mga susunod na araw para sa mga bagong balita at mga kwento na dapat nating abangan. Mula sa Boses ng Masa, magandang araw Pilipinas!